Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Web3 Talks. My name is Ornella Hernandez, and I have two special guests joining me from Varus Capital, Darius and Darrach. How are you guys?
Yeah, very good.
Doing well, happy to be here.
Happy to have you join me. So Darius, you are the managing partner of Varus, and Darrach, you are the head of the Middle East. Yep. And I know that Varus Capital is a digital assets VC firm, but it's also a market maker. So we're gonna get into all of that. But first, I do have to ask about the name, Varus. Is this from Game of Thrones? The character from Game of Thrones?
You exposed us, yeah, caught red-handed.
Okay, why?
Well, first off, I love the show. I love the strategy of the show. I like the storyline, the characters, how they're interwoven into one another. But Lord Varus always struck me as a very curious character. He was a guy that was written off, kind of came from poverty, enslaved in a way, and rose up the ranks using stratagem, his mental fortitude, and, kind of his ability to predict the future through historical data, and didn't care about the limelight. He cared more about putting the right person at the forefront and him supporting that person. So I just always liked that story. And unfortunately, I named the company before, we found out what happened to him. So I don't want to ruin it for anyone watching.
Well, you guys are gonna kill me, but I actually did not watch Game of Thrones.
We have to go now.
Sorry. I know some of the characters here and there, but I did not watch the whole thing. So we will have to get into that at another date. All right. Is there any other inspiration from Game of Thrones into the company?
There is. Our management company is Westeros, right? The capital, in essence, right, being the major brain center, let's say, of the company. We do have Valerian Research, which is another company that we have as well. So there's a few more, but yeah, it's all interwoven with Game of Thrones for sure. Okay,
love that. All right. Now let's get into the fund. I know that you guys have recently come to the United Arab Emirates, specifically to EDGM, the Abu Dhabi Free Zone. So tell me a little bit more about that and why the move to the UAE.
Yeah, I'll let Darrach take it because Darrach is instrumental in this move that we've made.
Yeah, I think it certainly makes sense for us to move to the UAE. So myself, I've been here for, I think this is my 7th year, currently in Dubai. And I think it's visible for anyone to see this region and how it's evolving, And we have some very exciting projects here, particularly in the domestic market, and we just find that we would fit in, what we have going in terms of the two respective funds. It's something a bit different, but the UAE it's so welcoming. The regulatory advancements that we have is unrivaled anywhere else globally, and we're just excited to be a part of it. We have a really special product, and we're ready to get going.
All right. So what makes it so special? What differentiates you guys from other VCs out there?
Yeah, I think if you look at standard VCs, right, they have these long lockup periods. We actually have a very unique feature in our venture capital fund where we can actually pay GP and LP once we realize profits. That means that within the intra-cycle period, LPs are already starting to receive some form of dividends in return. So that's one thing. I think it's very hard to find a VC that has quantitative capacity. Maybe they're receiving tokens, they want to trade out of those. Maybe they have a quant or two internally if they're lucky enough to have that. But to actually have a completely divided yet connected in a way, high frequency trading quant fund, nobody really has that, right? So where does that benefit us? If you have two VCs, us and another one, enter the same round, same valuation, both are receiving equity, but we're receiving tokens as well. Because of the quant division that we have the ability to insulate our investment more because we're typically coming in as the market maker, providing liquidity, creating more of an efficient marketplace as well. And we also have the ability to exit positions without destabilizing price. So that usually equates to us making 20 to 25% more profit compared to the standalone VC.
Okay, so it makes you guys more of a one-stop shop, right? Because you can provide and offer more for companies that you invest in. So what kinds of projects and companies are you looking at specifically, and specifically here in Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, infrastructure is a big thing. I think any product that is increasing the efficiency of the market. I think integration of DeFi, especially if you look at real world assets and
it's a big buzzword nowadays.
It's where the market's going, right? Creating more efficiency in capital markets and using distributed ledger technology to create those efficiencies is really important. Gaming, right? And Darrach, this is his tool set right here. So
I mean, Web3 gaming, we all know, is exploding.
Are you a gamer?
I am a gamer.
Ooh, what do you like to play?
I play Fortnite with my kids. My 7-year-old is even better than me. She got her first victory royale before I did and celebrated for 2 days.
I don't know what that is. Sounds good though.
I'll teach you. It's okay. I'll teach you. So first and foremost, I am a gamer. In a previous life, I had quite a large gaming ecosystem company based in the UAE.
Okay.
So that's where I learned my trade. But I think Web3 gaming, and we've invested in a couple of projects that we're very excited about, but Web3 gaming, particularly in this region, I think is seeing a resurgence also. We're seeing a lot of things happening with new studios. We see what's happening with Saudi Arabia investing heavily in Web2 gaming, but inevitably that will transpire into Web3 also.
Would you consider the UAE and maybe the region to be like a burgeoning hub for Web3 gaming?
I think so. I really do. And one of the reasons is the personnel or the talent that's coming here and setting up shop here. And it's coming in droves. It's not just bits and pieces. They're coming in droves, as I said.
Why do you guys think that so there's so much interest recently now in this region?
I think it goes back to the support of the region, back to the government support in Maine. Also, there's a lot of capital here now, and people come for the money, right? You need the money to make the projects work. So that's a big reason why they're coming here.
Regulatory clarity is another big thing. I mean, when you have weird, ominous rules that are just incohesive, right? People don't want to go and the safety and security isn't there to actually register the company. But the regulators here, they're top notch. I mean, they actually care about corporates and institutions. What do they actually need? I've never encountered that before from regulators. So very forward thinking from the top down, attracting foreign talent. I mean, the sheer concentration of brain power that's here, it's coming from all over the world. This is a major, major hub, I think, for growth, and we're going to see that materialize really 2024.
So what would you guys like to see happen within the ecosystem and the greater industry when it comes to just advancements, whether it's more clear regulation or more games out there that have more adoption? Like, what is it that you guys are focusing on as Varus Capital that you'd like to see?
Within gaming?
It could be within gaming, just a little more generally in the industry, like your ideal world within the next 5 years or something.
I'd say domestically speaking, more foreign funds taking interest here, the big behemoth household names coming here.
Like which ones?
I don't want to name.
You mean like financial institutions?
Financial institutions, but also the big names within crypto, right? We've seen that happen with exchanges. So on an exchange level, we've seen that happen.
Yes.
We have seen some of the big names of protocols, right, having infrastructure here as well.
Okay.
But I do want to see the foreign, mainly Western and Far Eastern institutions that have exposure to crypto coming into this market and supporting that.
All right.
I think that will add a degree of maturity that we are in the cusp of, but I think that will solidify this market as being kind of a stalwart place to be if you're involved in this space, and it's already happening. So I think just more of that occurring.
Okay, what about you, Darrach?
Sticking with gaming, I think we've invested in a couple of projects. I'll not name names, but focusing on the fun aspect, on the AAA side. I think if you can convert the majority of Web2 gamers to Web3 gamers, that needs to be a big focus.
Yeah.
And you do that by making the game fun and enjoyable, not just having it as a slot machine, so to speak. We all hate that word, right? I think we can all agree, but play to earn is like, I always go back to the analogy of like playing a slot machine. Nobody plays a slot machine for fun.
Right,
play
right.
to win money. And play to earn is the same. And I think, and we've seen the trailer for GTA 6 and stuff coming out yesterday. And I think I just hope that they add some crypto elements to that game, or some NFTs or digital collectibles.
Well, I know Rockstar for a while had like a
They've
ban
been teasing us.
on NFTs in their games. So maybe they've amended that?
I'm not sure, but I know, I'm a sucker for hearsay. Let's say. And a lot of people keep telling me you can win crypto through specific missions in the game.
Okay.
But if you had your own skin in the likes of GTA 6, and it's going to be the biggest game of all time, and that will convert a lot of the doubters, let's say, from the Web2 world.
Definitely convert the doubters. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to look into, maybe I'll get that game.
It's addictive.
Yeah.
That is a game that I play, GTA.
Yeah, it's
It's a good one, Grand Theft Auto. All right. And now let's focus on the market making aspect of things. Darius, I know you mentioned that the quantitative arm of Varus Capital leads that. So if you could get into maybe, first of all, just what exactly is a market maker, if you could break that down a little bit.
Sure.
And then what sets you guys apart?
Yeah, I mean, you can really get deep in the weeds of defining what that is, but ultimately it is an entity or institution, could even be an individual, that is providing liquidity to the market to have the market be more efficient, right? And that happens with depth of order book, right? I think anytime that someone's buying any asset, any crypto asset off of an exchange, there has to be some level of liquidity in order for that to happen. If there isn't liquidity, it is impossible then to make a purchase. And on the opposing end, you want two-way flow. So that's very important. If you can only acquire, but you can't sell, then there's an issue, right? So maybe I want to buy 123 token. Let's just pull a name from thin air. I buy that token by, in essence, selling Tether and purchasing that token. Well, you need the inverse as well, right? So you have to be able to provide liquidity on both sides and create efficiency. You also don't want to know that there's a massive spread between orders, right? Which can just create a lot of volatility and a lot of other issues with stabilization of the token itself, and also deteriorates price action. So
okay. So those are like the main priorities for market makers.
Liquidity, price harmony, I would say, especially if the same asset's trading on different venues. So you do want to harmonize price. If not, you open yourself up to arb opportunities, which can be good if you're the trader, right? But if you're the owner of the project, not necessarily so good for you. Yeah. So efficiency within market, liquidity, price harmony, I would say, is the main role of a market maker. Okay,
and how would you guys maybe assess the market right now in terms of market makers, your competition out there? Like, what's the feel right now with market makers, given the market conditions?
Well, you look at the bigger institutions, right? Many of them have pulled away from America. So that's been an issue. America has become a scary place to transact crypto.
I know, unfortunately. We're Americans, so that's very unfortunate for me to hear.
Yeah, we're Americans and we're here for a reason.
Yeah.
So we love America, we're patriots, but we are here for a reason. Yeah. Our families are still back there in New York. So yeah, I think it's there's been changes, right? Especially when you're in a low liquid environment, low volume environment. The spreads are much tighter, right? There is less opportunity. It does become more competitive, but I do believe that this market will change and adapt, especially as the bigger names come in. The capacity to trade will become faster. There will be a need for that. There will be
because there will also be more demand and more people asking for it.
Correct, correct. And the infrastructure, it has come a long way from years ago, but it is still lacking. Also, the cohesiveness between exchange to exchange is also an area where things are lacking. You need a very large amount of quantitative development capacity to be able to create things that are kind of, let's say, an order book, right? That can give you fair market value that you have to establish that yourself. So there's still a lot of growth that needs to happen, but we expect to play a role in that.
Okay. And how does emerging tech such as blockchain technology and artificial intelligence play a role in improving your processes as market makers?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would think from the technological standpoint, AI, I don't personally see a big major use for it now. Machine learning, which I think people should segment or separate from AI, I think has more use within trading itself. but the model of just let the computer go ahead and have at it, and you can just go to the beach and lay there for 2 weeks straight and just sleep and it's making money.
No.
Can it happen? Technically, maybe, right? But you still need human touch. You still need human oversight. And even though we are very algorithmically driven as a quant shop, we do still have manual human oversight. You really do need that 24/7 coverage. Markets are volatile, they're unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Many things can change, and you still need a human being that is watching the machine in essence.
I agree. We need that human element. What do you say, Darrach?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I might be a bit more open in terms of the AI elements. I think it's coming fast, and there's not much that we can do about it.
Okay, so we shouldn't be scared.
We shouldn't be scared. No, we should embrace it. Obviously, there's going to be some fear initially, but we should embrace it. We should learn, should take the time to understand it and try to implement it slowly and safely. But there's room for it for sure.
Okay.
It should be used as an enhancement tool. It shouldn't
Right.
be replacing.
Right.
But maybe one day it does replace, right? But right now it should be something that just kind of accentuates what is already happening and creates more efficiency in reporting and all
Right.
of that, and more research as well. The computers can research better than we ever can.
That's for sure, at least faster.
Yeah.
No, the way I like to think about it is that it's not necessarily going to replace a job, but it might replace a human who isn't upskilled.
Yeah.
In
I
those
agree.
tools.
Correct.
Yeah, for
Correct.
sure.
Yeah.
And I think it will also create other jobs, right? You still need a high level of understanding to be able to create these AI systems, to monitor them.
Right.
So I think it will open up another segment of jobs and potential.
For sure. All right, and then one big change in the market this week is that Bitcoin passed the $40,000 mark.
Yeah.
You guys happy about that?
Of course.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so what's the prognosis here? Do we think that we're entering the bull run finally again?
No comment on that.
No.
Darrach, we can't comment on that.
Yeah.
I had to ask.
I think we'll see maybe some increase, maybe some decrease, some volatility, but not necessarily full on bull.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
you're
so much
positive.
more.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
positive
for sure.
sentiment for sure. I mean, you see it from allocators right now. They're swooping into the market. You see money really being deployed now. You see funds and organizations and institutions that were very conservative now saying, okay, we need to give it a strong look.
Yeah.
It's changing. There is a level of maturation entering the market now that we've never seen before, and players coming in that looked the other way in the past. So very exciting times.
Yeah.
All right. And so what are you guys, in your experience so far in your careers and within the blockchain world, what are you guys most, what did you find most rewarding and the most challenging aspects about it in your time?
I'd say being in the Middle East for the last 6 or 7 years, my most challenging aspect has been around the education of blockchain and crypto in general. So I spent a lot of time trying to educate, trying to get people to make them listen, frustratingly, which has been a bit of an uphill battle at sometimes. But it's been a real breath of fresh air over the last 18 months, I would say, to know that people are now more receptive, particularly institutions and some of the higher family offices and things that we deal with in our line of work. They're open to it, and we're seeing new generations coming through that want to be educated, they want to understand just blockchain, crypto in general, and ways that it can be utilized, particularly from an investment perspective. So that's been a challenge, but it has also been very rewarding in seeing that shift. So.
All right. And what about you, Darius?
I'd say the sophistication of products, right? We're talking about a asset class that hinges on being decentralized. That also comes with an extreme amount of risk, right? The asset class was created to kind of rebel against the greed of institutions and monetary systems that were outdated. That's a massive, massive entity to try to pivot, right? So there's growing pains that come with that. Things like regulation, things like security of assets, custody of assets, enough pick and shovel, components to help strengthen and reinforce the industry. We've gone through growing pains, right? There's massive volatility in this asset class that is still at the very early stages. So I think all of that's been hard to contend with, but the most positive part is watching this progress happen and the rapidly evolving and fast changing landscape. It is so exciting. I mean, from day to day, this world completely changes
Yeah.
and it's moving so
Yeah.
fast. So for better or worse, that's where we're at. And it's, it's a very fulfilling thing to be a part of.
The more news for me too, the better.
Yeah.
All
No
right.
shortage of that.
All right, well, we are almost out of time, but I did have one more question. Do you guys think it's ever truly possible to achieve a decentralized world like you were describing?
My opinion, no.
Yeah.
In theory, yes, but human beings, we live in a world and society where, you know, power and control is not something that us as human beings as a species are willing to give up yet. Maybe we evolve a long time from now where we're some more sophisticated beings and we're kind of moving on more of a even playing field. I will say that decentralization does allow the playing field to become more even, for
Okay,
sure.
okay.
It does give more opportunity to people, for sure. And it is a step, I think, in the evolutionary direction of us as a species, right? But is it truly completely possible? In theory, yes. In practice,
Yeah.
very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. I don't think we'll see it in our lifetime if it is going to happen.
Okay, it's gonna
but-
take time.
Yeah, it's going to take time, but it's to achieve full decentralization. I completely agree with what Darius said. There's still too much greed out there in the world, and control and power.
Damn
is
human nature.
human nature. Yeah. So, but it's a nice thought all the same. And we're
Alright.
getting closer.
Yeah, we're working towards a future like that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, that was Darius and Darrach from Varus Capital. Make sure to check them out for more information and to look you guys up on socials. Is there anything, any platform you use the most?
We're everywhere. LinkedIn, Medium, YouTube, our website, varus.capital. We're all over the place.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Web3 Talks. Until next time.